And it's hitting right above her head, it scared her.
Oh, yeah, and normally
We get out there,
they were looking for
and
it
I see the back
on,
porch go like
microfilm. Yeah.
Good morning.
You know, they'd have a box of dates and they'd pull out the date and look it up. Yeah. I remember in high school doing research for newspapers that were on microfilm.
We watched.
I used to put the names and numbers on jackets.
So they were out there at.
Early
This
jobs.
morning, and they said it has even gone to the clubhouse.
Yeah.
The lady, because it was a company that was selling hardware and stuff.
No, it only ran for about an hour.
Oh, like a billing purposes?
Okay, so we're gonna get going here in a minute or so as we're getting set up. Most of you have already heard. If not, we're gonna use weights today, so you can grab a heavier set and a lighter set because we do have some exercises that are gonna go out to the side, or we're gonna have some overhead presses. So if you have any issues with your shoulders at all, it's nice to have that lighter set to go down to, especially if you do the first set and then you say, well, that was a bit much for me to do again. So then you have something you can move down to. We always want to protect our shoulders. That's super important. So as we are getting situated, just start to march your feet. Get your feet moving. And as always, we'll do exercises today with a seated option or a standing option. So again, if you are starting the exercise and you say, ooh, this is a little bit more than I anticipated, you can feel free to have a seat. I don't typically allow for much ego in my classes. Start to bring the knees up a little bit more. If you're seated today, you are welcome to march in your seat. How's everybody doing today? Good, good. Let's add some arm circles in here. Get our shoulders starting to warm up. And let's go backwards. All right, let's leave the arms back to a marching arms and do some heel taps out in front of us. Yeah. Good thing you are separated in here. All right, let's switch to toe taps behind us. All right, and then now we're going to switch to side taps. Making sure you guys have lots of room to move around, right? All right, let's come back to a regular march here. And then you can stop the feet, and we're going to let our arms go wide and come together. Do that a few times through, switching which arm is on the top every time you come together. All right, and that sounds like a pretty good warm-up to me. I'm going to start getting going with our first exercise. For this set, there is some type of movement or cardio at first, and then we add another exercise, and then we kind of link a couple exercises together. So if I hesitate, it's just because I'm trying to figure out how my body coordinates it before I tell you guys. All right, so this first exercise set, the first exercise of this set is going to be regular squats. So for standing, you'll have the feet about hip width apart, maybe a little bit wider for some balance. But the one thing that I want to point out is that your knees and your feet should be pointing the same direction when you start to bend them. So that's the first thing to be aware of. So for example, if I'm bending down and my knees kind of come together, that's not going to be good for your joints. So you want to maybe bring your feet closer together if that's the case. All right, if your feet are pointed outward, your knees are going to follow the feet line and point outward a little bit when you squat down. The second most important thing is keeping the tush back, right? We want to squat like this, not like this, okay? Because that's real bad for the knees as well. We want to make sure that our weight is kind of centered over our heels as we come down, all right? So that makes a little bit of a lean forward. You can come down a little bit, or you can come down a lot of it. If you're seated, you have a couple different options depending on your skill set and how you're feeling today. You can either go from sitting to standing, or you can put the weight into your heels and just press into the heels and lean back, all right? Those are your progressions there. You can find out what works best for you. Again, since we're probably going to work through this 2 times through. So the first weighted exercise that we are going to do is going to be a vertical press. So you may choose to use your lighter weights. Sorry, I'm reading the instructions now. It's a single weight at the chest. So that can take into consideration of whether you want to use the lighter one or the heavier one. And you are welcome to use a weight when you do your squats too. So holding it just at the chest here, same thing, whether you're seated or standing, it just adds a little bit more resistance, a little bit more weight. For the vertical press, with one weight in front at the chest, you're going to exhale and press it up above you. Now, if you have some shoulder issues, this is going to be less directly up and more out and up, okay? As Brenda showed me, this is the putting the thing on the shelf, right? So kind of just be aware of your shoulders and how they're feeling. Again, since you're only using one, you may find that one is not quite enough weight and you may want to move up, but kind of just listen to your body on that one. And the last one is we're going to put those 2 exercises together. So what that's going to look like is a squat and a press when you come up. You kind of get to use that little bit of explosive power as you come up to press the weights up above you. From the side for you guys online, it looks like this. Now when you come up to the top, you have your belly nice and tight, because if you don't have a nice stability here, you're more likely to kind of get thrown off balance when you go to press up. We want to keep this as firm as possible. If you're doing this seated, then you go from either sit to stand and press, okay, or just lean forward, lift up, okay? So those are the options for this set. All right, so we've got the 3 steps here: squats, presses, and then both of them together. All right, so let's find our foot placement for the squats. If you're using your weight on this, you can hold it right at the chest, and then we're going to begin. So this is just the squat. All right, knees are behind the toes, sending that tush back behind you. And we're doing these exercises today for time, so you go at your own pace. Push as hard as you feel like you can safely. We'll do the exercises for 30 seconds on each round. Last one here. All right. Now for the press. Okay, find a good stable position. You can have a little bit of a bend in the knee, tighten the belly here, and then we're going to press up. Exhale every time you press up. And again, you don't have to go at my speed. You can go at whatever is comfortable for you. We're halfway through. Last one here. Okay, we're going to take a little bit of a break for about 10 seconds, and then we're going to link those together. I have no idea. We'll have to figure that out before everybody leaves because it's driving me nuts too. Big old crack in that mirror.
Somebody's got 7 years of bad luck.
Oh boy, at least. All right, so we're going to start squatting and pressing at the top. The weight in your squat is in the heel. That's going to help to bring that tush back. We're almost there. Last one. All right. Go ahead and walk it off and grab a drink. We're going to do that set one more time through.
Sure kind of tacky, didn't it? Oh, I think it did.
All right. Yeah. Now that we're going to go through this twice, we've done it one time through. You can kind of see how you feel on this. Modify. Since we're doing it on time, that might mean that you go slower, right? Modifying can be going slower. Modifying can be taking a seat. Modifying can be letting a lesser weight be used or no weights. All right? Just keep in mind what's going to be good for you so that in 45 minutes you guys don't hate me or feel like crap. All right, we're going to get ready for our squats. So if you're using your weight, you're going to bring that right at the chest. Situate your feet and begin. Using your inhales down, exhales up. Squeezing the glutes every time you come up to the top. Make sure that you're utilizing those muscles, building strength. Last one here. I'm going to take a short break before we go into our vertical presses. Always keep the feet moving if you can. That'll keep your heart rate from coming down too far. Even if you're seated, just moving the feet is going to be a big help. All right, let's start to prep for the presses. Nice stable spot and press up. We got about 5 more seconds. Last one. Another short break here. We're going to get ready to go right into our combo. So that's a squat with a press at the head. All right, getting that weight situated, finding your proper feet placement, and begin. Again, go at your own pace, exhaling as you come up, squeezing those glutes, getting a full body workout with this exercise. Last one. All right, great job. Grab another drink. All right, so this next set that we're going to do, you're going to use 2 weights. For the first exercise, it's really just a controlled butt kick here. So we go nice and slow, really squeezing these hamstrings when we pull our leg up. If you want to hold the weights on either side of you, that's fine. We're not going to use them in this first exercise though. The second exercise we're going to do is going to be a bicep and a tricep exercise. So what we're going to do is holding our weights, and you can choose whether you want to use the heavier or lighter ones. A little bit of a bend forward, and we're going to use our hammer curl, and then as we come back, we're going to press straight arms back for the tricep, okay? So what that looks like is bending the arms up, hinging at the elbows, letting the arms straighten, hinge back at the shoulder, okay? So it's going to be a very slow and controlled movement here to target the biceps and then the triceps. For the last set of this, you're going to do these, and then let's see how I want to link this together. Actually, I think I want to do one at a time on both these last exercises. So modified for me, we're going to do one here and then do the other on the other side for that last exercise. And then when we do it on the last exercise here, we're going to do this and then lift the opposite leg here. Now that's going to require balance. So if you can't do that, that's fine. If you're seated on this, the hamstring curl might be a little bit difficult. As I say, sometimes my shortness is a hindrance for me for letting you guys know it's going to work. So if you're short like me, you can bring your heel underneath this chair. If that's not going to work, you can kind of scoot off to the side and lift the leg back behind you and then do the opposite. You know, I'll let you know when half time is up so that you can switch sides. For the bicep and tricep, same thing here, lifting and pressing, and then other side. And if you're seated for the last one, it's going to be lift and then press with that opposite side. So again, on the first one, the last one, I'll let you know when halfway mark is up. So if you're seated, you can kind of scoot to whatever side of your seat is going to work best for you. All right. So the first thing is the hamstring curl. Again, you can use the weights in your hands or not. You're not actually going to use them too much here though. This is just the heel lift behind you. All right, so nice tight belly for stability, and then start lifting and alternating, okay? If you're doing seated, I'll let you know when half time is up. Really squeezing that leg muscle behind you as you lift through the heel. There's halfway for anyone that's doing this off to the side of their chair. Okay, and that's that exercise there, okay? Going right into the arm workout here. So again, I'm going to change this up so that we're alternating. I'm going to take a little bit of a bend forward. Start with one side, curl, straighten, press. Other side, curl, straighten, press. Keep alternating back and forth. Five more seconds here. All right. So now we're going to try to link those two together. Again, if that's too much, what I would suggest for you is opt out of the leg exercise, and maybe you choose to do the same thing that we just did, alternating, or maybe you want to try that together, okay? All right, so we're going to start with one side, curl, press and kick. Other side, curl, press and kick. Keep moving back and forth. Working on our coordination and balance. Almost done. Let's do one more on each side. All right. Okay, so that is that one. Go ahead and grab a drink if you want one. Walk it out a little bit. Figure out if that worked well for you to use that weight set for this last one. If not, you can go ahead and switch it up. And we're going to start with the hamstring curl. So if you're seated, go ahead and I'll let you know when to switch sides, okay? So go ahead and begin right now. Just lifting that back heel up towards your tush. There's halfway. And that's 30 seconds, okay? So now we're gonna do our arm exercises here. So we're alternating back and forth. So we're gonna curl, straighten, press, curl, straighten, press, and continue moving back and side, just like that. Back and forth. Side to side, there we go. All right, one more. Okay, now we're going to link the two together. Realized I didn't do the halfway point on the last time. I will try to be better about that this time. So if you're seated, I'll let you know when you can switch sides, okay? So just like we were just doing here, and again, if you want to try something different, you can opt out of the legs and just do both at the same time. Otherwise, we're going to lift, straighten, curl, and kick. There's halfway. One more. All right. That is that one. Grab a drink if you'd like. Walk it out. If you're really focused on those hamstring curls, that is something that maybe you're not using a whole lot. So we'll make sure to stretch those out at the end. Okay. So you guys can keep walking, marching, stepping, whatever you're doing to keep your bodies moving. I'm going to start explaining the next set. So this one, these for the weights, just so you guys can make your choice, they're going to be rows. So you can choose to use your heavier weights if you want to. Obviously, see how that feels, right? The first exercise that we're going to do, and again, kind of just like we were just doing, you can hold the weights if you want to, but we're not actively using them in the first exercise. It is going to be either a reverse lunge or a tap behind you, okay? So reverse lunge, take a big step back, bending the front knee, stepping forward, alternating, okay? From the side. Now what I want to mention here is you can take small lunges, you can take big lunges, okay? Whatever works for you, wherever you're feeling at today. If you're not up for the lunges, just do a nice tap behind you. Obviously, the longer step the more you're activating these muscles, but it does affect your balance. So if you need to use something for support in front of you, you can do that. The second exercise, like I mentioned, is going to be the rows. And this is going to be a little bit of a bend forward, okay, so that you've got a nice stable core. Arms are out in front of you, and then they pull straight back in. So I know I demonstrated elbows out, but we're going to actually do elbows in. Vertical weights, just pulling back. What you want to do is aim for those weights right at the chest, okay? The elbows, as you can see, I'm holding them close in, squeezing my shoulder blades together, okay? I am not doing this, right? These are flies, we're doing rows, okay? So that said, the last exercise, we're going to link them together. So step or lunge back and row, okay? Depending on what exercise you're doing. That's going to be a little bit of a factor with balance. So if you start losing your balance, just come back to the step, all right? And work it that way. If you're seated for these, just like before, you can kind of use that step or whatever you used in the hamstring curl. That's going to be very similar, whether you're stepping the foot underneath or out to the side, and just engaging this muscle for that knee flexion, okay? The rows, very similar, just a lean forward, pulling in here, and then obviously finding what works for you for that step back, for that, okay? I will try to remember to give a halfway point for the reverse lunges, just like I did with the hamstring curls and in that last set, so that if you want to come off to the side and actually do a big step back, that you have a time where you can switch off. All right, okay. So, starting with that back tap or reverse lunge, if you're seated and you're off to the side, find what side you want to get on. And for those that are standing, we're going to alternate, okay? And let's start now. There's halfway for those that want to switch sides. Last one here. All right. Now we're going to do our rows. So we find a good stable position with our feet. Little bit of a lean forward. Let the arms come out in front of us. And then we're going to keep the elbows in and pull. Again, we're doing this for time, so feel free to go at whatever pace is good for you. Last one here. Take a 10-second break here, and then we're going to link them together. So if you're seated and you're going to do one side at a time, go ahead and find what side you want to start with. Get your feet ready. And go. So you're stepping back and rowing at the same time. There's halfway. Almost there. Give me one more. All right. Grab a drink. Good job. Okay. I don't think we're gonna do that one again because I want to get to a couple of the other sets and make sure that we don't run out of time. So I'm gonna move right on to the next one. So move your feet around, keep moving. I'm gonna explain and do my talking thing. So the first exercise is a step to the side and tap, like I'm already doing. So that was easy enough. Just like before, you're welcome to hold weights if you want to make this a little bit more intensive. And the next exercise, this is going to be one of those where you're going to want the lighter set weights. Now, that being said, this is one of the more difficult ones for the shoulders and for me. So this is the lateral fly, okay? Elbows are slightly bent. Weights are in front of us to start. Come right out to the side. As we do this, we're going to actually alternate with whatever side we're stepping out, okay? Because that's how we're going to link them together, right? So when we do the flies in the middle here, that second exercise, you're welcome to do both at the same time or alternate. Can't do it without the feet now. Okay, your choice. And that goes for seated or standing. If you're seated for this, you can just step out to the side like so. And then when we get to the last one where we link them together, same thing. You can just step out and lift to the side. The muscles that we're targeting are going to be right here on the shoulder, right on the outside, and up top on the side of the neck. So if you think about those muscles, even if you're not using any weights today, work those muscles. Think about squeezing them as you lift the shoulders up, and I guarantee you will still get a really good workout. All right.
Where's the exhale?
Exhale is on the lift. Yep, you're exerting, you're going to exhale. Okay? All right. So now we're going to start with our side step. Again, you can do this however you want to. You can hold weights, you can not hold weights. And we're going to treat this as our cardio of this set, so you can go at whatever pace is comfortable for you.
No, just the beat.
Yeah. About 5 more seconds here. All right. Now we're going to bring the feet still and do our flies. Like I said, you can do both at the same time or alternate. I don't mind, whichever feels better for you. Start with the arms in front of the body. Make that belly nice and tight for support, and begin. Last one here. All right, little 10-second break, and then we're going to link those together. If you did both like I did just now, remind yourself that you're going to alternate. So if my right side is stepping out, my left side is lifting, and vice versa, okay? That'll help to keep you balanced. So find a good stable spot here, find your beginning posture, and begin. The more controlled and the more focused you are on this exercise, the more benefit you're going to get out of it. Give me one more on each side here. All right, let's walk it off. Grab a drink. Okay. this last little set that we're gonna do, and then if we've got extra time, we'll go through some other stuff, but I think after this set, we're gonna come to our chairs and do a little bit of ab work before we go into our stretching cool down, all right? Just like before, this one, if you want to use your weights for just a little bit of extra weight on your body, that's fine. This is gonna be knee lifts, okay? So just high knees, and again, this is gonna be cardio, so you can lift slow and controlled, or you can lift a little bit faster, whatever you're feeling like today. Seated, you can lift high, you can lift low, whatever works, all right? For the second exercise here, we're gonna do a bicep curl. So palms are gonna be facing forward, and you're gonna lift up like this. Now, when we did the curls earlier, we did the hammer curls. Our weights were in line with our body. This time, we're gonna do palms forward and lift like this. What I wanna see here to make sure that we're isolating the muscle that we wanna use, this bicep, elbows should stay connected with your body. All right, so when I'm lifting, there's only the lower part of my arm that's moving. I am not using my body weight to throw my weights up, right? Because then I lose the integrity of the exercise and I risk injury. So we want to make sure this is nice and controlled. For the last one, you're going to link those together. All right? So biceps are typically pretty strong, especially compared to shoulders and everything, so you may be able to use your stronger weights. Take the first couple to kind of determine that, switch out if you need to, get rid of them if you need to, all right? First things first is the knee lift. So get ready and begin. Again, you can go at your own speed. We're gonna go for 30 seconds. Right, and rest. Go ahead and find a good position for your feet so you have nice stability here. Let the palms face forward, preparing for our bicep curls. Little bend in the knee, that's just gonna help to support you and stabilize you. And curl. Exhaling as we curl up. Almost there. Last one. All right, a little bit of a break here, and then we're gonna link those together. So this is gonna be the bicep curl with the knee lift, all right? Find a good spot for your feet. Find the arms where they need to be. Take a deep breath in and begin. If your biceps are starting to get fatigued, go ahead and slow it down. Or use lighter weights. We're halfway through. One more each side. And rest. All right, good job. Grab a drink of water. Okay, so before we go into our abs, let's give a little bit of a stretch out in our legs. So if you want to come to stand it if you're seated, You're welcome to hold onto the chair for balance. You just want to take a moment to kind of find a nice lunge here. So it doesn't have to be real long, right? Just 1 foot behind the other, front leg is bent, back leg is straight. Try to bring this front hip back. And as you lean forward, you can let the toe or the heel of the back foot come up. You can lengthen your stance. What we're looking for here is a stretch right here in the front of the hip. So the more you lift the body upright, the more you're going to elongate that, all right? If you're real far bended forward, it shortens this muscle and it's harder to stretch. So if you come up, just feel that elongation here. Letting the hips stretch, sink in for just a few moments. And then bring the feet back together. We're going to come into the other side. All right. So the opposite foot is in the back now. Bend the front knee. Bring the heel up if you need to on this back foot. Body upright. And just sink into this stretch here in the left side. The more you encourage the front hip back and the back hip forward, you're going to increase that stretch as well. And release. Okay, let's go ahead and come down onto our chairs. And just a couple of quick abdominal exercises. You're going to lean the upper back against the back of the chair and hold on to the lower part of the chair. Bring the legs out in front of you. And you can either bring one knee at a time, or you can bring both feet off the ground and bicycle, okay? Make sure you're focusing on tightening the belly. You want to be able to support the low back. You want to be able to support the legs. About 5 more seconds of this, okay? And release. Next thing I want you to do, if you still have your weights handy, if not, you can use no weights, is take one of the weights here, reach it out in front of you. Is that going to be too heavy for you?
No, it's good.
Okay. So the weight is out in front of us. Make sure the belly is tight. This time we're not leaning back against the chair unless you need to, because we're going to try to strengthen this. And we're just going to twist to the side, come back to center, twist to the side, back to center. So exhaling as we twist, inhale back to center. Think of it as every time you're twisting, you're wringing your body out, just like a washcloth. You're wringing that air out. In the low back, we'll take care of it.
4 and 5.
One more each side here. All right, take a little bit of a break. We're going to do one more. For this one, we won't use the weight. Okay, we're going to bring the hands kind of up by the shoulders. And as we exhale, we're going to bring our elbow toward the opposite knee. All right, if you want to make this a little bit more challenging, you can lift that opposite knee. Otherwise, just kind of crunch down, okay? This is the last 30 seconds of work. We're going to take a couple stretches after this, some gentle movements, and then we'll be all done. About 5 more seconds here. Last one. All right. Good job. First stretch that we're going to take, we're going to bring our seats out a little bit on our chair. Let one leg come out straight in front of you. The toes are pointed up to the ceiling. Keep one hand on that bent knee for stability. Reach the other arm up. Take a deep inhale. Exhale to begin reaching forward. And then allow the hand to come rest on the straight leg. You can bring your hand to your foot if you have that amount of flexibility, or just rest on the lower leg. Try to lift your chest up a little higher. Notice how when you straighten your back, lifting your chest, you can deepen that stretch without coming way down. If we bring our heads below our hearts at the end of a workout, we might get a little bit dizzy, so keeping our chest up also helps to mitigate that. We'll do one more breath here in this stretch. And then slowly bring the body up, bring that leg in, let the other leg come out. Toes are pointed up. You got your support on that bent knee. Inhale, lift the other arm up. Exhale as you reach forward. And then keeping the chest high, you can lower that arm down to the leg or the foot. Again, as you lengthen the spine, keeping the chest and head lifted, you can deepen that stretch without coming way low. This is targeting the hamstrings like we did with our hamstring curls here. It's also stretching out the calf because we've got those toes lifted. Slowly come back up. We're going to scoot back in our chair. Cross the right ankle over the left. That's your first option. If you have the mobility to do so today, you can bring the right ankle over the left knee. And you have a couple options here. The first option is to just put gentle pressure around the knee on that bent knee. Start to let that open the hip. If you want to bring that a little bit deeper, just lean the body forward. Just like we did in the last stretch, you're going to keep the back long. Whether you feel it now or not, Gwen, this should help that spot that was pinching just a moment ago. One more deep breath here. Slowly lift up, letting that leg come down. And then we're going to switch sides. So again, going through your progression, you may only be able to cross at the ankle, allowing gentle pressure out. You may be able to come up over the knee. Again, gentle pressure around that bent knee is the first step. To take it a little deeper, you just bring the body forward, keeping the back nice and long. One more deep breath here in this stretch. And then lift up, bringing both feet down to the ground. Take one hand on the back of the chair, wherever it's comfortable, whether it's down low or up high, it doesn't matter. The other hand comes to the outside of that knee. We're going to inhale to lift up through the spine, and then exhale. That was a little bit loud, sorry. Exhale to twist. Look over that back shoulder. Inhale to release. And we're going to slowly switch sides. So the opposite hand behind you. Bring the other hand to the outside of the other knee there. Inhale to sit tall. Exhale, twist around to look over the other shoulder now. Finding the twist all the way through from the tailbone to the bottom of the skull. Inhale to release. Last little one here as we're going to bring the hands underneath us. Inhale as you look up, reach the chest forward, pushing it through the arms. And then exhale, tuck the chin down, round the back, curling in on yourself. Let the shoulders pull forward. Use your next inhale to come into looking up, reaching the chest forward one more time. And exhale, tuck the chin in, round the back. And release. Go ahead and find a comfortable seat up against the back of your chair. Take a couple moments to do some neck circles in each direction, loosening that up. Take your time on the sides because we did work the top of the shoulders. And then come into a comfortable seated position, allowing the arms and hands to rest. Let the eyes close and take a little bit of a checklist from your feet all the way up to your head and gather up anything that might be still tight. Gather up any tensions, any frustrations, any worries, anything like that. Inhale deeply through the nose and then exhale out of the mouth in a sigh and get rid of those things. And go ahead and do that one more time. With the eyes closed, allow a softness to grow between the brow as you release the muscles of your face. Unclench the jaw. Let the shoulders and the arms rest. And let the hips and the legs feel fully supported underneath you. Take a moment to appreciate all of your efforts and accomplishments today. And you can open the eyes, reach all the way up, and give yourself a big hug. Thank you guys so much for being here with me today. And I will see you, what's today? Wednesday. I'll see you next week. All right, guys. Have a great day, and we'll see you soon.
You too.
Likewise, thanks.
Good class.
Thank you.